knock this out.
What do you mean tonight?
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm bad about that, I guess.
Okay, no problem. I'll handle the admissions.
Is anyone using this frequency? CQ, calling the Southwest Florida TechNet. CQ, calling the Southwest Florida TechNet. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet for this 15th day of January in the year 2021. This is Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra, KO4 EFS. My name is Ian, and I'll be net control station for tonight. The Southwest Florida TechNet is a board-approved net of the Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club. For more information about the net, you can go to www.swfltech.net. That's www.swfltech.net. Stand by. You can find more information about the FMARC, the Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club, at fmarc.net. That's fmarc.net. And you can find a full list there of other nets and repeaters around the Lee County area. This net meets weekly at 8 p.m. on the 146.685 repeater, and we are simulcasting on Zoom live at this time. We've got 13 people in there. Welcome, everyone.
Don't forget to mention that the link is no good.
What was that?
Don't forget to mention that the link is no good.
Okay. If you're trying to get into the Zoom meeting and you're unable to get in, you need to go to swfltech.net. That's swfltech.net and click the Zoom button. It's on the top, or there's another one just a little ways down on the left. There's two different ones. Either one of them will get you into the Zoom meeting. This net meets weekly at 8 p.m. on the 146.685 repeater for the purpose of discussing the technology and systems involved in amateur radio and to assist amateur radio operators to build and maintain radio systems and stations. In the event of a repeater failure, please switch to the 147.165 repeater, that's channel 1, on the Aries Alert standard frequency list. This is a directed net, so please follow the instructions of net control. Stand by. I'm told you're not supposed to say break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic before we continue? If you have an emergency at any time during the net, please do a double break and say emergency or something that would lead me to believe that you're having an emergency, and the repeater will be relinquished to you, and we will provide whatever assistance we can. The net has a companion website for the passing of photos, links, and text, and also a Zoom meeting. The people on the Zoom meeting are listening to this radio right now. This website has lots of helpful information and will also have information to get to the Zoom meeting. You can get to that website at www.swfltech.net. That's www.swfltech.net. No sign-in is required to join the net. It is open to anyone in the world that's an amateur radio operator. Stand by. And I'll now take check-ins to the Southwest Florida TechNet for anyone who cannot make it into the Zoom meeting. Our discussion tonight is going to be on the Raspberry Pi, and we'll take any brief comments on that as well if you're not able to make it to the Zoom meeting. So taking any radio check-ins at this time. This is KO4 EFS on the Southwest Florida TechNet, taking check-ins.
Juliet 4, Victor Delta Juliet, JR in Lehigh, handheld, contact, over.
Last unit, you had low volume and you were breaking up just a little bit. Can you give me your call again?
Kilo Juliet 4, Victor Delta Juliet. They are Lehigh and
All right, I got you checked in, and if you wish you could make it into the Zoom meeting tonight, but if you can't, we do have you checked in. Next unit wants to check in. Come now.
Net control. W4 RIC working on signing in.
W4 RIC, I've got you checked in. Should be under the live tab right there. It should say sign in, and it should just be it's just a Google sheet there. You just put your name on there.
Sure, I'm on the sign in sheet right now.
All righty, there we go. All right, is there anyone else to sign in on the 2 meter?
Net control, this is Kilo 4 Romeo Bravo, having problems signing in on Zoom.
Okay, did you find the page?
All I'm getting is please wait for the host to start this meeting.
Okay, you need to go to the website. Don't use the link that was in the email. Go to the website and click Zoom meeting in the website. It's swfltech.net. That's swfltech.net. And just click one of the Zoom buttons there and go in that way, and we'll let you right in.
You're getting the same thing.
You may need to somehow refresh. I'm not sure what to tell you. I got 19 people that are in here that came in through the website. So you may need to refresh that website a few times. Make sure you got a fresh version of the site because the link changes every week. And then there's a link at the top, and there's also one down on the left side a little bit. It says Inner Zoom meeting. There's also another button there that says Zoom information. That's all the information where you can enter manually.
You're still having problems here. W4 RIC also.
Okay, all I can offer is refresh the page and try one of a different link on there. I went through and checked it and verified that all 3 of the links were the same earlier this evening. So I really can't say what it would be, other than you might have an old version of the page loaded on your browser, and it's not getting you the freshest, newest version of the page. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Because I now have 22 people in the Zoom meeting, and I've got more arriving, 2 more just arrived. So I'm not sure what to tell you. You need to find a fresh version of the page.
Ian? Ian?
Broke newspaper already.
Yeah, does
Ian?
he have something? Yeah.
W4 RIC, what heading under Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club do we go to?
swfltech.net. swfltech.net. And then when that page loads, just click any of the buttons that say Zoom meeting. They're red and gold.
Ian, this is Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Evidently, you didn't start the meeting from the front page. I started it just now, and it should work.
Okay. I started the meeting. it even said, it came up and said, your meeting's supposed to start in 1 minute. Do you want to start it now? And I said, yes. And I'm signed in as the FMARC1. So I don't know. It just told me a minute ago that I was kicked out because someone else signed in. So I don't know if two of us can be signed in at one time.
Tom,
Yeah,
Tom,
yes.
the link that I sent out was the incorrect link. It was one from the 6th of January.
Okay.
So we're telling everybody on the air, go to the website, go to the swfltech.net
We're gonna go ahead
website
close the radio
and
side
sign
of
in
the
there.
net. We are trying to figure out what's going on, but just go to swfltech.net. I'm not sure what to even tell these people because the links are correct on the website. So I think we might have a problem here where we now have like two different meetings going or something.
Ian, I saw W4RIC attempt to check in, but he was here and then gone just like that. So I wasn't able to admit him.
W4RIC KO4EFS. We saw you pop up for a second and then you disappeared. We're going to watch for you.
Roger, I found it.
Okay, let me just, for the other station out there, just go to swfltech.net, swfltech, that's Southwest Florida TechNet.net, and just go there and click the Zoom link, and we'll see you in the Zoom meeting. I think we're okay because the numbers keep coming up, so. I'm now going to close the net on the 146685 repeater and return it to normal operation. This is KO4EFS. I'll be clear and switching over to the Zoom meeting. That's
Ian, you're listed as the host.
Okay, I just hope it's still recording, but that's not the end of the world either. So I'm not losing sleep over it. I just like to have that for people to watch it later, but we'll hope that's still going on because there's no way to really know. All right, guys, tonight, Raspberry Pi. I've been looking forward to this because unlike the last three nets where I kind of brought the subject, tonight you guys are bringing it because I don't really know a lot about Raspberry Pi. And I'm probably, I really don't know much about it at all. So what I've done to kind of guide the conversation tonight is I put together a quick little PowerPoint, basically, that will just spark the conversation. I'm not instructing tonight at all. I need you guys to help me with that. I know Stephen just bought one of these new ones with it's an all-in-one keyboard, and we're going to be talking about those coming up real soon. And we're going to go through all of them real quick. So what I'm going to do just to spark conversation is we're going to go through some quick slides real quick. And we're going to talk about the Raspberry Pi, and I want you guys to chime in with anything that you have on this, because as I said, I'm a facilitator tonight. I really don't know anything about this topic, so I'm wanting to be taught tonight. So this is awesome. From what I've seen so far, the Raspberry Pi is an amazing thing. It's a very inexpensive computer that if you have a specific task for it, does relatively well. And so I think let's just get right into it. Everybody should be able to see the screen capture that has the club logo in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the screen that we're going to be on there. And let's see here. What do I got to do to get this thing going here? There we go. I borrowed this from a bunch of different places just to make things quick here. But basically, that's what it is. For those of you who don't know, we're just going to run through like 3 slides here to go through what it is. A Raspberry Pi is just a really easy, small, cheap computer. It has the same components of a larger system, but basically the memory, storage, and audio and video and everything are all on this little board right here. it's basically a system on a chip. It integrates many components that are usually separated on a CPU into one little mini package. It's used in many compact appliances like products and phones. Your phone has an SoC. A low-end laptops like Chromebooks have them as well. Does anybody want to talk on this so far?
So far, you're right on the money. This is a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, and these little machines are pretty amazing. They can do almost as much as a PC can. It won't be too long. I figure the next generation. Hello. Next generation will catch up. So I use several of them around here. I got one I use for a special type of name server called a Pi-hole, which takes all the advertising. It's a DNS server that cleverly omits all of the advertising sites, and I get no ads on my mostly get no ads on my web vision. So when I go to look at web sites, so that's just one of the many things you can do with them. Weather stations, there's lots of applications. It's amazing, and a lot of ham radio applications too.
And which one did you have there? I got your camera on so they can see it again. And that's the one it's built inside one of the plastic boxes.
Well, this one, I put it in this plastic box. This is
Okay.
an official Pi plastic box. If you can look at it real closely, you can see the Raspberry Pi logo etched into the top of the box. This is a 3B Plus. This is not the latest generation. It has, this is the fastest of the 3 generation. Of course, the new 4 generation is quite a lot faster, and you have the, well, they did have the 1 gigabyte memory, but they've discontinued those. You have 2, 4, and 8 now. 2, 4, and 8 gigabyte memory configurations available. And most of the time you run a Linux type operating system. However, there is also an abbreviated version of Microsoft Windows 10 available that you can download for free. And that's mostly meant for their Internet of Things, IoT type applications. We got Steve there with another one.
And I'll tell you one of the things that I liked when I was reading about this for the net tonight is the fact that it uses RISC, and I'm like, what is that? And it's like, oh, it stands for Reduced Instruction Set Computing, meaning that it's less complex. And I'm like, less complex always works for me when it comes to computers. So basically, one of the things the reason I brought this slide in is don't compare your Raspberry Pi to an Apple or to a Windows when it comes to gigabytes for the processor, because they're not equatable. Your Raspberry Pi will generally do a lot better with the same processor. Mm-hmm. And that's basically all that slide there was about. And this was when it was first released. The main thing they were looking at was education, and yeah, most of you guys know all this stuff here. This was the Model A, I guess. I don't know if anybody experimented with the earlier models. Does anybody want to talk about this one? All right, and then I guess they went to the Model B.
Yeah, the yellow thing is video out. It's just like an RCA plug. That was all they had back then that they used for their monitors, was just a video out. The newer ones use HDMI.
Yeah, I think this one here, they do switch to the HDMI. There it is right there. You can see it. So by the time they got to the Model B Plus here, they got to the HDMI, which is important because it's a lot easier today to find an HDMI port on something than it is to find a composite video plug. Or some other kind of video plug. Yeah, there's the HDMI there. This is the Model B again. And there's the HDMI. And that looks like some kind of mini HDMI or something there. I don't know. As we get into the
size HDMI on those. It's not till you get to the 4 that you go to the mini HDMI size.
Oh, okay. All right. So that was probably the power. That's power input then is what that would be. Yeah, that's power.
USB-C.
Okay. Right. And then,
USB-C is only on the 4.
all right, and we're going to get to the 4, and then I'm going to let Steve talk about the 4 because he got one. So we're almost there. That's the Pi 3, and then this is the 4, the 4 before the one we're going to talk about next. And notice there's 2 HDMI plugs on that one. I thought that was pretty cool that you literally right from the get-go can plug in 2 monitors to this thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of amazing. And then this is the Pi Zero, which does anybody have one of those or anybody using any of that? These were all different ones that they come out with. And I'm not going to bore everybody with it. And this is finally the one we're going to talk about. This is the new one. This is the one that Steve has. And it's a pretty amazing deal. Apparently, pretty amazing. I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn off the screen capture and we're going to, and Steve, when you start talking, it'll come over to you so you can show yours and tell us what you've learned about it so far.
And I got to unmute my thing too.
That was the saying of the year in 2020, by the way. You're on mute.
Yeah, it was. Let me kill my background. Just go to the general background. That should take care of that problem too. Whoops, I take that back. No, it didn't. Here we go.
Well, we got you.
I know I've got that. I just tried to get rid of this fancy background thing.
You mean you're not on an island?
I'm not on an island. You know that.
Oh, wow. I thought you were on an island.
Where the devil is that?
I thought it was so cool that you flew into another time zone just to be live on my net.
Yeah.
Lower left-hand corner, Steve. Stop video. Instead of hitting that, get with the little up umlaut, and then you'll have a drop-down menu that has the video menu.
Yep. That. Whoops. I muted Ian by mistake there, I think. Umlaut. Where's the umlaut? Here's the umlaut. Choose virtual background. I did that. And here it is. None. There we go. Thanks, Tom.
There you are.
All right. So
He beamed back home.
what's that?
He was
Okay.
beamed.
You beamed back home
Beamed
again.
back
There
home.
you go.
All right. So here's the thing. This is the whole gadget. And there's not much point in looking at that because Ian has a video of that. You can find the video on YouTube as well. But it also comes with this very well-documented manual, which covers a lot of the information about the Raspberry Pi itself, and also some clever, very visual, some GUI programming things that you can do. Remember, we used to write programs in BASIC? You could write a program with images and then say, okay, run, and it'll run the program for you. That's pretty cool also. But the nuts and bolts of this gadget is that everything's built into one package. The Raspberry Pi is in there. It has a Wi-Fi link in there. It has a Bluetooth link in there. It comes with a power supply and a mouse and the manual, all in a cute little box for $100. You can. They're not very readily available. I'll tell you that right now. I just happened to luck out to get one. And one of the reasons that I wanted to buy the thing or to get to use it in the first place was I'm looking to do WinLink on the Raspberry Pi. Now, there was a basic thing called PAC WinLink available for the Raspberry Pi up till now. Pat Menu. YouTube videos all over the place on that subject. And it worked fairly well, but you couldn't do forms. And as you know, my attitude as EC is I need forms. We have to be able to use the form systems to transmit lots of information in a short period of time back and forth. But I was doing some digging today on YouTube, and believe it or not, the Pat Menu version 2, which was released a few weeks ago, includes or has the forms capability built in. They're still working on the latest and greatest. I think it's on beta right now, so I'm not going to recommend anybody install the thing on their Raspberry Pi. But my sense is that in a couple of weeks after they've done some more beta testing with this thing, you will be able to install an operating system on your Raspberry Pi 4, I think at least 4. Maybe it'll run on a 3, I'm not positive yet. 4 with 4 gigabytes of RAM. And this thing will run just like a PC and control your radio, run everything you need to run through the radio to make the thing work as a standalone WinLink setup. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll also work over WinLink on the network, by the way. So if you don't have a radio, you could use it that way as well. All you need to connect to the keyboard is a monitor, and you are in business. And I'm really happy with the way this thing works. Okay, Ian, that's it for me. I know Steve, SKP's done a lot of work with these things. You might want to talk to him.
Yeah, Steve,
Go ahead,
tell
Steve.
them how big that keyboard is.
Physically, it's about a foot. Where's my ruler? Wait a minute, here we go.
I don't think it's as big as a Commodore 64 was.
It's 11 inches.
No way.
Yeah, 11 inches wide, 5 inches deep, and 3/4 of an inch thick. Now the Raspberry Pi that's in here was constructed specifically for this device. It's long and skinny, and it's built on a metal plate that runs the entire underside of this thing so that cooling is accomplished by just convection across the metal plate that's built into this gadget. You don't need a fan or anything to cool it.
Oh, that's cool. So the whole bottom of it's like a heat sink.
Well, the inside, but yeah. Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
All right. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yeah, my Raspberry Pi, it's a 4, and there it is. You can see the 2 HDMI ports. There's one, there's the other one. And here's the case to it, just like a normal Raspberry Pi case, but I have a fan in it. Yeah, see, there's a fan built into that one because it's going to run a little hotter. It has heat sinks on there for your major chips, but I haven't got to use it yet, so I'm getting ready to use it. I went to the Walmart today and bought some chips for it, so I got the SD card, so I'm pretty much ready to go now. And I'm going to use my Raspberry Pi in my Go box so that I basically have a computer with me no matter where I take it. And I'm going to also run a program called Ham Pi, which is like 80 different ham related softwares. And it all comes on one program. So I just load that program in, and from there I can start up any one of those Ham Pi 80 softwares.
Is that the W3DJS thing that you're talking about?
Yes, I am. That's it.
Yeah. W3DJS. That's how you look for that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for. Oh, there it is.
Up in Atlanta.
I think this is it here. Oh, no.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, which Steve?
You. It's Drew. Yeah, I'm running Ham Pi by W3DJS on one of my Raspberries that I'm using as a second desktop, and it's got not only the Libre Office software for your forms, but it also has a whole other subcategory for ham radio. And within that, you got software-defined radio. There's like 3 different programs. You've got WinLink, FL Digi. There's a plethora of stuff in there, like they were just saying. I've been running it about 2 months now, and it actually has worked great, seamlessly, actually.
Okay, that's really cool. And the video is now showing on Ian's screen here.
Yeah, actually, if you go to, I forget the YouTuber, I got to look it up. One of the YouTube guys had it on there, the whole install, step-by-step on the install. formatting the drive and everything, and then just downloading it. It updates. There's been a few updates already, but it'll go right to, once you install the HampPy, it'll go ahead and update everything right away for you afterwards. You just do like a sudo apt-get update and then sudo apt-get upgrade, and it'll upgrade the whole operating system.
The whole 9 yards. Agreed. And you mentioned it, and I forget, is it OpenOffice that's on this thing or something else?
It's called the Raspbian side of it is called Libre. Hold on, I'll look it up right now. It's called Libre Office.
Yeah, that's
and they've got all the different types. It's basically a spin-off of like Microsoft.
Yeah, so you can process with that program. You can process Word documents, Microsoft database documents, Microsoft spreadsheet documents, the whole works.
I'm sure you probably could even get a Adobe. So if you have everything saved in Adobe as fillable, you probably can get an Adobe software running Raspbian or Linux.
Yeah, I think that's true.
PDFs and all.
Yeah, and being able to read PDFs also gives you all of your manuals and all of your forms and everything that you would ever need right there without the internet.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with it. Just as long as you pick the largest disk size that you can get, like maybe a 128 gigabyte, you should be fine on space, especially for the operating system. It really doesn't eat that much.
All right. Well, let's go back to here. I wanted to. Let me hold on.
That's
just
a
one
good point.
second.
Let me add something to that, Ian.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things you want to do, the operating system sits on a mini or micro SD card. So you do want to pick a fairly large micro SD card because that gives you more storage space than the RAM that's built into the Raspberry Pi itself. Just keep an eye on that one.
32 is a good size. 32 gigs, probably a good size starting. You might want to go bigger than that. The next one up is 64.
Yeah, I started with on this operating software, I started with a 32.
Yeah.
And I had to free up and remove like a program or two that I wasn't using in order to open up more room for the apt-get upgrade.
Yeah. It goes 64.
So, yeah, I mean, for 128, I think it's like maybe 40 or 45 bucks. So it's actually well worth it if you're going to use it.
Yeah. Plus, you can plug in a USB. You plug in a USB stick to it too and use that.
Hey guys. Can one of you guys talk a little bit about what you do with it? You bring it home, you take it out of the box. Now what do you do? Because it's there's probably people on here that haven't ever used one and maybe afraid they have to be a Linux guru, and also the fact that most of it, it kind of looks like Windows. You can do, I think you can probably do 90% or more without really getting into any Linux. So maybe if you guys want to talk about that for the new guys.
All right. Yeah. Can someone expound on that? I know nothing about Linux.
Well, I can take a shot at that if you want.
Okie doke.
Okay. The nuts and bolts of it is the Raspberry Pi, whether you buy the unit in the box that you're seeing unfolded now, or just the Raspberry Pi by itself, requires an operating system on a micro SD card. You can download that from Google. Just search for the operating system on the micro SD card, and then copy it to an SD card using a program called Etcher or something like that. Yeah. And then having that on the SD card, you plug that into the Raspberry Pi and power it up. If you buy the basic unit, you'll have to attach a keyboard, a mouse, and a monitor. But then having powered it up, the first thing it will ask you to do is to update the operating system to the latest and greatest. Pardon me, the first thing it'll ask you to do is identify your Wi-Fi network, unless you're plugged into a cable.
Yeah.
And then it'll ask you if you want to update the operating system, and you say yes, and it'll bring everything up to the latest and greatest. And from then on, it's pretty much GUI. It's pretty much something you can just plug and play and watch, just as you would a normal PC. The locations of the menus and things are a little bit different in each different version of the operating system, but it's fairly easy to understand if you've done any work with computers up to this point. This video that you're watching right now is going to pretty well, I think, explain what happens next. Here we've plugged in the monitor, the power supply, and the mouse. Oh yes, it has a power button. I love that. I'm going to just shut up and let you watch this.
All right, and that's about it. Well, I guess there's a few more seconds here.
Looks like the size of the old Sinclair.
Yeah, it's not much bigger than that. I remember those too.
All right. Well, thanks, dude, for the unboxing there that we just saw. All right. Anyway, so there you go. I will tell you that little all-in-one unit there seems to be something that would be fairly easy to go into a Go box.
Oh, sure.
You know, and I think that would be great.
All you need is a display and a mouse, and you're good.
Yep. All right, and the real quick, we're just going to keep going. Again, please interject anything that you want to interject as we go here. But this is basically the layout. We've kind of already gone over some of this, but you can kind of see there where everything goes on this thing. It's almost hard. We're back to the one that doesn't have the built-in keyboard. It's kind of hard to believe that all this goes in that one little package. It's you literally could have like 100 wires hooked up to this thing. But anyway, just to give you an idea there of where everything's at. And this is the compatible operating systems, which we just mentioned. I think you already mentioned that. And let's see.
I think one thing you should say, Ian, is that there's a ton of videos available on YouTube on what this thing is and how to use it and what you can do with it. All kinds of information out there to go with the thing. And I love this. Yeah, this list right here is pretty well says it all.
Yeah, this is actually the picture you see there is actually a little camera you can get that hooks right up to it, and then now it can do whatever spying you need it to do.
Yeah, I've got one of those and it works really well.
Yeah, I that's pretty cool. That would be great, and of course the thing's Wi-Fi, so you know it's hooks up to the internet or whatever to get the images to wherever you need them to go. But yeah, there's a
porch pirates.
Do what?
You put one at the front door and watch for porch pirates.
There you go. There, you could probably even have the thing trigger something that will spray something on them.
Yeah, I imagine so.
It's a really short cable though, guy.
And there's the this is the ham radio uses, and I was kind of surprised at some of the things you can do with this. The Echolink mode was cool, but they're also using them now for what, fusion nodes? I think you guys talk about that. We're using them for DMR nodes. What are we using these things for there?
I just built an Echolink node.
That is cool. I want to do that myself.
And there is Pi-Star program available, I think, that will connect you to the D-Star network.
Really?
And I think somebody's using this with Fusion, aren't they?
Yeah, I've got actually got 6 of them. I've got one for DMR Yaesu system, one for D-Star, one for TGIF on DMR, one DMR Plus Brian Meister, and one for All-Star. And I've got one I'm using as a desktop.
Okay, so if Amazon's out, we know why. Okay. Oh man, you sound like me with all that. I would love to be getting in all that. I will eventually.
And just so you guys know, I posted on the chat. I posted the under Smokin' 8. That was the YouTuber that did a step-by-step, not only formatting the disk but loading the HamPi software. I put the link for the YouTube in the chat if anybody wants it.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate that. They also, I guess, APRS, antenna rotator control. That's interesting. Of course, the TNC. I mean, that would be cool. I don't know. There's a lot of other things, but the one that really got me, and I think it's the next slide here, maybe not. This is the one that got me. You could just make it into a radio. Just bypass all the BS and just make your Pi into a radio. I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. I'll do that. This one's pretty cool.
That's ham clock in the background on my.
Yeah, I see 2 ham clocks. I like that.
Yeah, that's the sort of application.
Here, let me turn my screen share off and then say something, Tom, so it'll switch back to you and then show him that.
I think you need a very new one to build your.
Unmute your microphone, Tom.
Hey, Tom, you there?
Yeah, sorry guys, I had to use 2 hands here, but that is ham clock.
That's pretty cool. And do you have that? Do you have both of those plugged into the same Pi?
Actually, I'm switching that through a switcher so that I can display it on either one of those 2 displays. I just have
that's
to
cool.
pump them up right now.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I want that so bad. I'm going to be doing that pretty soon. It's on my list, but you don't want to see my list.
Hey guys,
Another thing you can do with them that's been done is to use the Raspberry Pi with a GPS module. It can be an NTP Stratum 1 time server, which of course is very nice for some of your digital modes and everything, and you're not dependent on the internet.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
yeah, that would be good for like portable FT8 operation, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly what this is right here. It's a GPS module plugged into a Pi 4. And just to throw out one thing too, you can do a headless installation where the Pi runs as a window within Windows. You don't need a keyboard or a monitor or anything, and you can dedicate a lot of ham radio functions off of your main PC. But this has a whole suite of KM4 ACK YouTube videos. I can actually send texts and emails, WinLink from a sailboat by HF. So it's fully capable, but this is the GPS module right here, plugged in, flashing.
Very nice.
How do you go about using it headless? Is that SSH or something?
Yeah, you use VNC. You configure it with SSH, which is a remote control command line interface. And then with VNC, you can pull it up as a full window within Windows. So you can do everything you want without having to have all the clutter of multiple keyboards and monitors.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, you can do more stuff with this. It could drive you insane. They're really nice.
And that reminds me, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but if you guys have 2 computers or 3 computers on your desktop that are all running Windows and you want to only use 1 keyboard and 1 mouse, Microsoft Garage has a thing called Windows Without Borders. And it's like Doctors Without Borders, but it's Windows Without Borders. And it's Microsoft Garage, Windows Without Borders. You install it on the 2 or 3 machines. You put the password in all the 3 machines. They all got to be on the same wireless router. And then your mouse will go across all the screens on all the different computers. 1 mouse and 1 keyboard. I use it. Works great. Just wanted to put that out there.
Great idea.
And you have to designate where the screens are so it knows where to track the mouse across the computer. But what's really cool is you go to one computer and you copy and you go to the other computer and paste.
That's kind of like what you can, when you do 2 screens on a Microsoft machine, you can drag your mouse across and go from one to the other. But this is better than that because you go across 2 or 3 machines.
Well, and this works great for me because I've got 4 monitors on one Microsoft machine, 2 monitors on the other Microsoft machine, and I'm using all 6 monitors on Microsoft Garage. So yeah. I'm using all 6 monitors, use the same keyboard and the same mouse.
Great idea.
Yeah, it works really, really good. But anyway, just put that out there. It's called Mouses Without Borders. Anyway, let's get back to Raspberry Pi. has anybody, nobody's built the radio yet, huh?
No, but they will work with the SDR play. I understand that now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Now it does say on here that the output's not very clean. I mean, this may be something that's still, you know, not perfect. And I know that if you've got like frequency drift, it's not good with the digital modes and stuff. It's pretty bad. So I don't know how that would work, but I just thought it'd be really cool. We're getting really close to the day when we can just, you know, we're getting almost back to the day where we can build our own radio again. Let's see here. And this is more about that, about talking directly from the Pi, using it as an SDR. So I can't wait to try that. This is I found this is a kit that you buy that mounts right on top of your board, and it's you know, it's supposed to be a low power transmitter, low power radio kit that goes right on the board there. And then there's the this is a they were using it for digital modes, and they're using it for the waterfalls. This is just all examples. I just went on the online and literally found different projects they had done with it. This is a TNC Pi. I thought that, yeah. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not even 100% sure what that one does. So anyway, this one's cool. Make your own digital hotspots. We talked about that. And this works, you know, with we talk about DMR, D-Star, and Fusion. To me, it makes sense if you're going to make a node or something that's going to sit there and run 24/7, 365. You don't want that running on one of your laptops or on one of your desktops. This is the perfect $50 option for that. To me, it seems perfect.
What I run a local name server on.
And here it is running FT8.
Oh, yeah.
So I would love to get this going at some point. I'd love to see if I could if I get my FT8 working on there. That'd be great. And anyway, so there you go. That's pretty much what I had there. I'm just going to open it up to anybody else. What other projects have we built with the with any version of the Ham Pi?
I think the most important thing that these guys need to know is the fact that even though it's Linux based, you don't have to know Linux, because everything you showed there that it can do tonight or do has been written by somebody else that knows Linux, and there's so much out there available that it's, you just download it and put it in and you're set to go. It's all done for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you said I could program it with pictures, I was in.
Don Domina has written a do-it-yourself kind of thing for Ham Clock. It's really informative and takes you step by step through there.
I think that's in last month's modulator.
Yeah, probably, but
November or December, but I think December. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anybody else have anything on that we built with anybody built with Ham Pi, with the Raspberry Pi?
I've got a web server running on it.
Yep.
No, that don't count. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Just about any services you run on a Unix machine, you can run, or a Linux machine, you can run on a Raspberry Pi. So web servers, anything of that nature. Print servers, like I said, DNS servers, time servers. What would you like to run? You can do it on a Pi.
And it sounds like the Pi is something that you're going to be able to leave running for long periods of time. Those of you like me that are Windows guys, I'm a Windows guy. I love Windows. I hate Windows. You got to restart that thing every 2 or 3 days. It just gets all crudted up. And what I've noticed in the past when I've worked with Linux and Unix-based systems, you can leave them running for months. They just run clean and they run for long periods of time. And I hope that's the same situation with these.
With the Pi, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My name server has probably been running 180 days without
Yep.
even as much as a glitch. It just keeps right on going.
Years ago, back at the EOC, back when it was the old EOC, and I was a part-time dispatcher for Lee Control, and I was a volunteer for the emergency management. I would go back there and work, and we had a thing on the wall. We'd change every day how many days it was since the server had been reset. And that Lennox system that we had dispatching with 5 terminals ran for 365 days, and they reset it. So it made the full year. And I'm like, I have to reset my Windows computer every 2 or 3 days, or it just locks up and I lose my work and I'm done.
Yeah, the garbage collection is miserable on Windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian, I used to run an IRLP node up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and for the club there. And it was made out of old computer parts, desktop stuff. And it would run until either the hard drive or the power supply died. Other than that, never had to touch it. It was beautiful.
Usually with Linux, you don't have to reboot it until you put in a new kernel.
Yep. That's amazing to me. That's amazing to me. That's the kind of reliability that I like. And I think that's why as popular as Windows was, even back in the 90s, as popular as Windows was, they were not going to run this system on it. They wanted to run it on Linux so that it would be something that they wouldn't have to mess with. And it ended up being a damn good system. Mm-hmm. Anyway, all right. Anything else on Raspberry Pi? And then I'm going to open it up for any topics.
Yeah, KE4TJL, have one little quick question.
Okie doke.
Somebody on a limited income like I am have not had a Pi yet. Which would you recommend as a starter?
That would depend what you want to do with it.
Just to get the knowledge of it.
Yeah, believe it or not, the prices on them aren't all that different between the lowest of the line and the top of the line. If I were you, I'd just pick up a Raspberry Pi 4 with 4 gigs of memory. And if you've got keyboard and mouse and all that and a monitor there, you're in good shape. All you'll need is a SD card. Now, I would recommend you get at least a 32 or 64 gig SD card.
All right, thank you.
So we're basically, guys, we're in the $50 to $100 price range here, from low to high, right? That was pretty much where we're at.
Yeah.
Because that's even almost in my price range, so that's good.
You might want to look on. There's an outfit called CanaKit, and you can go on their website. It's up in Canada someplace, but you buy everything that goes to get a complete system up and running, except for like a monitor and that kind of thing. Or you could go with the 400, in which all you need then would be, yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You can get them from them. It's a little more expensive than some places. There's always Adafruit, but I think this is in a way a better deal because you get what you need to get going.
And you can also buy the CanaKits from Amazon.com.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool, guys. I like that. It comes with the little box and everything.
And just remember, if you're going to do a Raspberry Pi setup for like DMR, D-Star, or Fusion, you're going to have to get the MMDVM board to go with it to make it RF capable.
All right, and there's your.
I like these because you get everything you need to get going.
There's the Pi 4. That's the newest one, right? This is not the one with the keyboard, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that series.
The ordinary PC keyboard works fine. I like the wireless keyboards to run with them, and they work just fine. You plug them, and it only takes up one USB port as opposed to 2, and you're good to go. Then you hook up a monitor, just an ordinary PC monitor. It's got an HDMI port. In fact, you can even use a TV set. I've done that too.
That's cool. I just want to make a quick disclaimer on here, just because we're showing websites. It's no endorsements here. We're just basically showing websites that where we can get stuff. All right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, all right, so everybody's got that. Anything else on Raspberry Pi? Okay, let's open it up to any topic, anywhere, any questions, technology, anything. And before we do that, I'm gonna make a few quick announcements before we lose anybody else. Next week, AA4JS, John Scarborough, is going to be co-hosting with me. He normally is busy on Friday nights, but he's making arrangements to be here with us next week. Next week is the tech deep dive into Winter Field Day. We're going to be discussing everything Winter Field Day next week. John's going to be in with us, and him and I will be co-hosting, and he's going to go through all the setup, how we're doing it, what different frequencies are going to be running, where the antennas are all going to be, how we're going to be doing it, how you can participate, and we're going to cover all that next week. I thought it'd be a great way to organize and educate prior to the event, so that when we get out there, things will run even smoother. Something we've done for a little while with the group, and apparently it's a lot of fun. I know I went to Summerfield Day, and it was pretty cool. No, it was not cool. It was cool, but it wasn't cool, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it was hot. Actually, it was, yeah, and lightning and hot and lightning. Anyway, so there you go. So that's next week. So now I'm going to open it up to topics. Anybody have any topic they'd like to bring? Any question you'd like to ask this panel of experts that I've assembled here? Come now. Come on now, Shy's at the end of the line.
Hey, Ian, I don't have a question, but I will make a comment. That grid tracker is awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
You can't keep track of all that stuff that Grid Tracker does for you.
You can't. As a matter of fact, I'm still learning things about Grid Tracker. I have it now talking to me. It goes, new hit, new state, K04EFS calling K55. It's like, I like this. It's like it talks to me now. So anyway, every day there's some new thing on there that I find. I want to clarify one thing that you and I talked about in an email. When you're using FT8, we talked about how once you've done it for a while, you want to cross the street. I want to clarify what I meant by that. If you're pouncing, if you're sitting there waiting for someone to pop up and then you double click on them and you pounce on them, you don't need to worry about crossing the street. Okay. You don't need to worry about that at all, because it's going to pick the proper side of the street when you double click. The only time you have to worry about crossing the street is if you're in zombie mode and you're just basically hitting transmit enable and it's running CQ, 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 CQ. After about 4 or 5 of those, I'd stop and I would check and let it run for a couple cycles and make sure somebody's not walking on you. And then I would switch sides of the street and go again. That's what I was talking about. So there's 2 different modes. There's pounce and zombie. Okay. Pounce, you don't have to worry about what side of the street you're on, because when you pounce, it's going to go to the right side of the street. When you're in zombie mode and you're just hitting CQ, CQ, transmit enable, that's when you probably would behoove you to make sure your signal spot's clear and change sides of the street. Did I do okay clarifying that? And anybody else with anything on that, come now.
Hey, Ian.
Yeah.
Bob KN4 CPA and I were we were looking at that, what you were talking about. It got us curious. And we found out if you have a little misconfiguration in the rig section of WSJT, you'll only see the even or the odd, just like as if you were transmitting. And what it was the split in there has none, rig, and fake it. Bob had set his IC 7100 to rig, and it was only showing like the even or the odd, whichever was checked or unchecked on the WSJT. And when he put that back to none, yeah, split operation there, none. He had it set for rig. We changed it to none, and then he was seeing the even and odd. So, sometime, you're on double check that you're getting, you know, the times ending in 0, 15, 30, 45, and then back to 0, because Bob was effectively missing half of the traffic that was being decoded. So
Yeah,
just FYI.
When your transmit enable light is off, it's gray like that, you should see both sides of the conversation. It should look like a zipper.
Yep,
Okay?
exactly.
Because you're seeing both sides of the conversation. You're seeing even, odd, even, odd, even, odd. When you're in transmit mode, all you're seeing is the other side of the street because you can't see when you're transmitting. You're blind. Does that make sense? I know it's a crazy little thing, but when you're doing FT8, the side of the street you're on is kind of important if you're just going to sit there in zombie mode and click the button. Okay, all right, good enough with that. Anything else with FT8 or anything else on that? Go ahead and get out of that. All right, there we go. All right, anything else? Any other topics? Come now. Any other technical topics at all?
I got a question for Steve, GPI, on the 400 Raspberry. The other versions, the 1, 2, 3, and the 4, you can put them top hats on. How do you do that with the 400?
On the 400, on the back of the keyboard, I put my background back on, so I can't show you this. But on the back of the keyboard, there is complete access to all 40 of the GPIO pins.
So you would have to have a cable to connect a top hat to that?
Yeah, that is correct. You'd have to have either a cable or separate wires to make that happen.
Okay, very good. And what power does it require? Is it 3 volts or 5 volts?
The power supply that comes with it, if I recall correctly, runs 5 volts, but the thing will run, and don't quote me on this for right now, but I'm pretty sure this is true. This will run on a 12 volt system as well.
That's good. I was going to ask if there's a converter for a Go box that having 12 volt capability would be excellent.
Yes, sir. That's one of the reasons I like this thing. I need to dig into it a little further. Haven't spent too much time on it, but there's a lot of potential on that thing, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you could hook 12 volts directly to it. If it's like the regular Raspberry Pis. I haven't seen one up close that runs on 5 volts. You might get a little, plug that into 12, you're probably going to get, so you need a down converter of some kind.
I'll double check it and let everybody know, but I vaguely remember that there was a comment about being able to use 12 volts on the input on this thing. That was one of the pluses. But don't take my word for it right now. We'll check it.
Might go check
Well,
that
just see if the smoke comes out. That's all.
Yeah, you don't want to smoke that.
One quick comment there. It looks like an old floppy disk controller ribbon connector, but the old floppy disk controller has more of an overhang on either side, so it won't fit in the enclosure. But otherwise, that's real close to, if you have an old cable, that gives you an interface.
Yeah, I think an IDE disk cable would probably work. One of the parallel.
You just have to grind the ends off, make it a little bit narrower, and then it would work.
Yeah.
What do you do if you threw all those away already?
You have to go buy one.
Kick yourself in the butt. Ian, one other thing I'd like to share, and that is that I put the ham radio toolkit on my cell phone.
Yeah.
You're right. That thing is loaded with potential. That's a great little tool.
I love that one. That one is one of my favorites right there. And I put that in early on when I got in the ham radio, and I just love it. I have built every one of my Yagis with that on my tablet. I even have a standover on my workbench where I can put my tablet on, and so that app is right in front of me when I'm building my antennas. I love that. And let's see here. I'm trying to find some other images here of those ports, but I'm having a hard time getting a real close up of that one. But anyway, Yeah, there we go. That's the back end of it there. That's what the inside looks like. And then that's there's a close up there in high def of what the pinout looks like. So anyway, it does look just like that disc ribbon, but I think he's right. At least one side's a little bigger, so you could only stick it in one way or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a key up at the top. I can see that.
Yeah.
So you can only put it in one way, hopefully the correct way.
Oh, well, I like how they got pin 1 and pin 40 marked right on the outside. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I like
you can
that.
see where your SD chip goes.
All right. Anything else on anything?
One additional on the 400, then somebody just mentioned the chip. The thing comes with the chip already programmed with the Pi software and actually plugged into the keyboard. So all you have to do is plug this thing in, turn it on, and it'll go.
See.
You got to love that.
Of course, if you want to try another operating system, just pull that, turn it off, pull that out, and put another one in. So you got as many chips as you want to collect. You can have different operating systems if you want.
That's right. It's versatile. You could try as many different things as you'd like. And by the way, this one's got a spring-loaded eject on the chip, unlike the standard Raspberry Pi where it just sort of sticks in there and you have to pull it back out again. This thing's got the spring-loaded gadget, so you put the chip in and it goes click and stays put.
Nice.
All right, there's there you go. Yeah, it's just square. I don't even see where there's any. I guess the key maybe is in the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle.
The key's right there so that you don't get it in the wrong spot.
Looks just like an IDE, the old IDE connectors. If you look at the top, it's rather subtle, but you'll see the
Right there.
Indentation. Yeah, there it is.
Whoops, where did it go?
He went away. Oh, we're gonna get.
Oh hell, it went even closer. Holy goodness, there we go.
Yeah, you can see it now.
Yeah, that's the key right there to make sure that you got it upright. Well, there you go.
There's your 2 HDMI ports. And you go on over some more and you probably see the power and your USB ports. You don't have quite as many USB ports on that as you do on the regular Pi, but then one of them is occupied by the keyboard itself.
It looks like there's 3 USBs. Is the one like is that something else?
The white one is USB 2 and the 2 blue ones are USB 3.
So you could use the white one for your keyboard then.
Yeah. Well, your keyboard uses one.
Yeah.
So normally there's 4 on there. So apparently what they've done is they've taken one for the keyboard. And so for a mouse, you'd have to plug into that one there that you've got the arrow on. Yeah, I don't know. Too bad that you don't have, because usually what I do with a regular one is just plug in a radio for a wireless keyboard mouse set, and that only uses up one thing, and then you've got 3 more used for something else. Then of course your Ethernet, I think, is gigabit Ethernet. Should be by now.
Yeah, I like that it still has that because you do still run into that quite a bit. And I mean, I have the availability to plug that directly in here, so
yeah,
that would
prefer it.
Yeah, and the way this place is a Faraday cage, I mean, the more stuff I can plug in directly and not have it sending radio signals in here, the better.
Yeah.
So I'm already going to probably shorten my life with all this radiation. All right. Anything
will annihilate us all.
There you go. There you go. I like when they say your phone needs faster internet. I'm like, my phone plays high definition videos. How much freaking faster does it need to be? What else am I going to need to do? Play 2 high definition videos at the same time? I don't know. They've made such a big deal out of it. It's like, oh, I can't wait till 5G gets here. I can't wait till 5G gets here. So why? Because you text and watch videos. What?
Look at all you can do with 4G. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, 4G is all you need on a phone. Whatever, I guess. Where 5G's where that's going to come in handy, I think, is when you've got systems hooking up to it and accessing it, and not individuals per se.
And like your home internet, you'll be able to go to one of your mobile carriers, like T-Mobile, for instance, and get a box that will give you home internet on 5G. And that'll be nice, because that'll be a lot faster than your monopoly telephone company and your monopoly cable company.
Exactly. All right. Anything else? Anything anybody wants to talk about tonight? Okay, I'll mention this. The tropospheric ducting has just finally relaxed. It was bad. It was a phenomenon that most of you guys, I'm sure, already know about. This is right on the swfltech.net website under propagation. You'll see tropospheric ducting. And this spot was sitting right between Tampa and Fort Myers for about 2.5 days. It's just finally moving off. And we were getting so many calls and complaints at the station that the general manager was on the phone trying to figure out what's going on. It was shutting us down.
About that on the radio.
Yeah, it was shutting us down. And so I just wanted to mention it to you guys because, 92.5 megahertz is affected heavily by this, and so is 6 meters, and so is 2 meters. And so I just wanted to mention it because it's something that in my other line of work has affected us greatly for the last 2.5 days. I have noticed that the Lakeland repeater on the 685 comes in crystal clear in the morning the last 3 days. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to them checking in on their net up there, and then all of a sudden our traffic net starts over the top of them. And it's literally, they were almost as clear as our 685 right here. And they're in Lakeland, 100 miles away. And it's because HF, as you guys know, HF, it jumps in like 500, 1,000, 1,500 miles. It jumps kind of like that. And you guys know a lot more about this than me. I know I'm probably using simplistic terms here, but tropospheric ducting happens a lot lower in the atmosphere. And the bounce you get is more like 100 to 150 miles. And so what it ends up doing is it takes that Spanish radio station on 92.5 megahertz up in St. Pete, and their signal can come in on us really strong because it's bouncing and coming in right on top of our listening area. And it pushes our signal south of Daniels Parkway. And it can be really bad. And people in North Fort Myers and Cape Coral hear nothing but Spanish music on our station. And it's something that was really bad the last couple of days, and it's finally going away. I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because it's something that I don't hear talked about all that much. And it's definitely one of those atmospheric phenomenons that affect us more than we know, and something we definitely should look into. So anyway, I put it on here. On the page, if you want to check it out, it's under propagation. Anytime you want to check it out, it's right there under tropospheric ducting. And anytime you see these brighter colors between you and the other transmitter, that's generally when it's the worst. If we've got yellows and golds right in between Tampa and Miami, we're going to get clobbered. We're going to get absolutely clobbered in the morning show and the evening show. It's going to be bad. So I just thought it neat thing. I just wanted to put it out there.
I ran into that just the other day. I was in southern Fort Myers, and I would pull up to a red light, and all of a sudden your station would go off, and there would be the music, and I'm thinking, oh, come on. And all I'd have to do is pull ahead just a little bit, and yours would come back in.
Right back in.
Yeah, because you're on the fringe. They were literally both picket fencing each other.
Right.
Yeah, it's bad. And we get complaints. People call us up. I know they're doing this to you, the government, the other side. I'm not going to get political. You know, I know they're doing this to you guys. I know they're shutting you down. I know there's somebody jamming your signal. That was the one I got. I had a guy for 20 minutes. So you think you know about radio, somebody's jamming your signal. I'm telling you, I know about radio and somebody's jamming your signal. I said, well, I'm an amateur radio operator, dude. I doubt somebody's jamming our signal. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
All right.
well, I can understand where they're coming from, because
It's frustrating.
the announcer may say something like, well, wait till you hear this. And then all of a sudden it's gone. And you think, oh, come on.
That tends to open the door for conspiracy theory things.
I know it does. It does. And people literally call us and they literally tell us they believe that what's going on is that that it's the other side, or it's the government, one or the other. And wow, my headphones just broke. Isn't that cool? That's so cool.
Must be the other side. They planned it.
I haven't broke a good set of headphones in a month.
Yep, the other side's fooling with you.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
mine. I always used to say conspiracy theories were a crock because it presupposes that all of the people engaged are competent enough to pull off a conspiracy.
You know what? I don't disbelieve conspiracy theories, but I base my belief on conspiracy theories on the number of people that would be required to keep the secret.
Yeah.
If it only takes 4 people to reprogram 1,000 voting machines, for instance, let's just use that as a off the wall example. That would be one I could believe in because it only took a few people.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't go to the moon. It was all faked on a soundstage in California. I have a real hard time with that one because
Yeah,
we actually launched crap into space in front of people. You have to look at how many, if that was fake, we would have had to fake launches of stuff just to send it up there so people see stuff blasting off. And then we'd have to have 10,000 people keep the secret instead. So you just have to, that's how I literally, everybody's always like, I judge it on how believable it is. I judge it on how many people would have been required to keep a secret.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So
Hey, Ian?
I don't believe in a whole lot of conspiracy theories anyway. Yeah, go ahead.
Just a reminder to everybody that when you're not muted, any background noise keys your image up.
All right. Well, guys, there's 24 of us still in here. I hate to just end it, but I don't know what else to talk about. Does anybody have anything else? Propagation's crappy today. I'll start there.
Yeah, it's like HF. I mean, I meet with a bunch of guys on HF on the 75 meter band every week, usually Thursday night. They're up in Atlanta. And what's interesting is when it's wide open to them up to Atlanta, but there's a guy in Tampa, only, of course, that's a little over 100 miles from here. Can't hear him and he can't hear me, but I can hear them up in Tampa. So I can hear them up in Atlanta, no problem. So it can be very strange. Yeah.
It's been weird. We had a couple days with openings about a week ago due to some solar activity. That's all gone away. We're back. Here, let me show you. There's the disc.
Yeah.
Lots of solar activity out there. But we do have a little bit of solar wind incoming over the next, on the 17th and 18th. So that right there just could be enough to get the HF going a little bit. So we'll have to just watch and see. But there's really nothing big in the offering right now. So I just wanted to put that out there. One of the things I do want to do on here is check space weather. Space weather is such a good thing. We're going to do a whole night on space weather eventually. I'm just not quite ready for that one yet. All right. Anything else? Any other topics? Any other questions on anything technical or anything ham radio related? Maybe what broke my headphones?
TJO, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I want to thank you for letting me, oops, hold on. I got to get my microphone down. I want to thank you for letting me zoom in and check out my Zoom. It's working fine. You guys had a good show, a good performance. I did learn a lot about the Pi. I'm thinking maybe I'll get one. if my wife will let me, and we'll see how that goes. But thanks a lot for letting me check in and use my Zoom. I appreciate it. By the way, my calls are KE4GJO, and the name is Gino, Golf India, November, Oscar, in Port Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, Gino, we appreciate you coming in. I think I don't know if I've heard you up there. I'm on the Sunshine Net quite a bit up there. I'm a member of Cars up there. But yeah, we appreciate you coming in. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And by the way, I'm also a VE for Port Charlotte and Ponta Gorda. Yeah, and I think I heard you on the net. I listen in on the morning. I don't check in because I really don't have anything to say, especially with their questions.
Yeah, sometimes I do. I check in quite a bit on Sunshine Net in the morning. I like it. But I mostly listen. I like when they have a ham radio question of the day. I'm not much on the other ones, but I like when they have a question of the day, like what's the best antenna you've ever built or something like that. And then you get to hear all these great stories from all these people about the antennas that they've built. You know, that's when it's a good one. That's when I really like it. But anyway, all right. Well, I guess we could do this. I just want to mention the Windmill Net on Sunday nights. We don't have that many people participating, and it is a great net. It would give you guys an opportunity to check out ground wave propagation on 10 meters. And for a lot of people, you know, we don't normally do that. So if you've never done that, we keep our antennas, you know, horizontally polarized, and we try to see if we can talk to each other on 28.475. That's at 9 p.m. on the Windmill Net. So give it a shot. I will say it's difficult to reach Punta Gorda on ground wave on that frequency. We've tried though. And I have tried a number of times, and I'll put this out here real quick and see if anybody has comment on it. I've been trying to reach the Cars 6-meter net. And I thought I had it figured out because the guys were telling me, hey, maybe is your antenna vertical or horizontal? I'm like, well, it's horizontal, of course. He's like, we're all running vertical. Try vertical. So I tried vertical. I still can't hear anything. So 6-meter right now is just not performing at all on ground wave. No matter what I do, I can't get into Punta Gorda, but it's 30 miles. So, you know, I get it. Anybody have anything on that? All right. Well, my pool stick's not making it up there. I'm trying. It's a pool cleaning pole that I cut in half, and then I adjust the inside pole in and out both sides to adjust the frequency. That's my 6-meter antenna. All right.
That might have something to do with it.
Will it clean pools? Fine. It's got to be a good antenna. It's made out of aluminum.
Yeah, right. Okay. Good night.
Anything else? That's it?
That's
We're
it.
gonna end there? All right. Well, I got to go find some tape for my headphones anyway. So, all right, guys. Well, it's been a great net. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and we're going to be doing Winter Field Day next week. Even if you're not a competition person, it's a great time just to come learn about stuff with radios. So we're going to talk about all the different tech side of it. So we'll see you next week. This is the Southwest Florida TechNet signing off. KO4 EFS clear. Have a
Thanks,
great night,
Ian.
everybody. 7-3s.
Good session, Ian. Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you very
Ian?
much. You guys have a good one.
Night,
Yeah, I'm still
everybody.
here.
And you're the one that needs to terminate it. And I see that the recording